Idaho man faces a federal assault charge for allegedly hitting a crying child on a recent flight. Ann-Marie Green shows us how the incident caused widespread outrage.
The trouble started brewing almost immediately when Jessica Bennett and her 2-year-old adopted son Jonah took their seats next to Joe Hundley on a flight from Minneapolis to Atlanta earlier this month.
I said, "Oh, we're sitting next to you," and he just basically rolled his eyes and growled at us.
Hundley allegedly began to complain that Jonah was too big to sit on his mother's lap, becoming more outspoken as the flight continued.
He was annoyed with his comments, and he's turning my light back on after I would turn it off, and constantly saying things to the staff in regards to my son and I. So I took us out of the situation and we stood back by the bathrooms.
She stood there with Jonah for 90 minutes, only returning for the landing. When the two sat down, Jonah began to cry and Hundley became irate.
He looked at me in a really hateful way and he said, "Effing."
Shocked, Jessica gave Hundley a second chance.
And I said, "What did you say?"
Hundley pushed up against her face and repeated himself. When she pushed back, he slapped Jonah across the face. Days later, Hundley was charged with assault, punishable by up to 1 year in jail. And while Jonah suffered only a minor scrape, his mother worries about the long-term damage.
He has suffered effects from this for sure.
Hundley was president of a division of AGC Aerospace, an airplane parts manufacturer. The company issued a statement while not naming him. They called his behavior offensive and said he was no longer employed by the company. For CBS This Morning, Ann-Marie Green, New York.
Well, the company acted very quickly.
They did, and you know, nothing is worse, certainly a parent, when your child is screaming on the plane. It's just tough to travel, and to make it worse, to have someone sitting next to you who's rude.
Because you're doing everything you can to keep them quiet, so
yeah.
That's not a good position for anybody to be in.